Hi teams, this Matt and Harry back with a video for you tonight. Hopefully you've managed to pick up the circular, and that's the purpose of the video tonight, and it's the circular about the COVID-19 test kit distribution service through community pharmacy. So Matt, I think I'll ask you a series of questions for the teams. You'll be able to give the update and the information hopefully that our colleagues are looking for, and we can make a success of the distribution service. So the first real question I'm sure the network's interested in, Matt, is how do you sign up?
Well, there's two annexes in the circular, Harry. The first one is an opt-in, which you can do from today. So you can opt in today and send that to the details at PSD, the NHS email or whatever is on it. The other one is actually an opt-out. So if at a later date you decide that for whatever reason your pharmacy team is not going to do it, you can also opt out with that annex. But from today, with the start date next Monday, but you can do it from today, and they're looking to get the service up and running, as I say, from next week.
So there's the option to come on board, opt in just now, but actually the service isn't kick off to next week. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Great stuff,
I think that gives our colleagues in wholesale, etc., time, to get the stock ready, and then to have that there for when the pharmacies start ordering the kits.
No, great. Yep. I think it's maybe useful to clarify as well for our teams, Matt. What's the purpose of the service?
Well, the purpose is really we know our colleagues in England are doing the service already, and I think NHS Scotland saw the value in having a trusted source and community where, an accessible point, because at the minute these kits can be obtained by the public through online means or at asymptomatic test centres, and there's a sense that actually the public aren't familiar with these test centres. Some don't like the online system, so actually give them somewhere that's actually treated them throughout the pandemic and is accessible, and community pharmacy was seen as that solution down south, and actually naturally was seen as a solution up here. We're working alongside as I say, other areas of test and protect, and that whole test and protect strategy. So it's just another facet of that whole testing strategy with the general public.
Yeah, I think it's been seen as where community pharmacy plays its part, Matt, in the Scotland's response to the public health issue. It's how we contribute to public health going forward. So Matt, you mentioned tests there. So whose are they and how do you get them?
Yeah, well, the test kits are the NHS test kits, which come from national procurement, and yet they're the same test kits that you would get online or from an asymptomatic test centre, Harry. So although they come through our normal wholesale route, and I think it's our colleagues at Alliance Healthcare that are doing the distribution on behalf of NHS Scotland to all community pharmacies, it's not really a normal stock replenishment process for a pharmacy. You only order when you give it out and when you need it. So it's not to be stockpiled. It's not really to be kept in reserve. So certainly initially order a set of tests in, that's fine, but actually only order more as and when you get requests from the public for these tests. So again, not to be proactively, I suppose, offered as well. It's really got to be on the initiation of a household or a member of the public.
And we're looking for almost just like a just-in-time approach to this, because it's part of the whole NHS Scotland's testing capacity in that respect. So it's So we just
absolutely, Harry. And I think initially, depending on the numbers of you that decide to opt in, and we hope that's as you feel comfortable with the service once you've read through the service specification and all the requirements, because it will need the whole team to engage in it. The counter assistants, people front line when the people come in to request, they're absolutely going to be crucial to this. So there might be a bit of a spike in demand initially, and I would ask you to bear with our wholesale colleagues who have been kind enough to actually take this on behalf of NHS Scotland, but they will get the test kits out to you. I'm quite sure of that.
Yeah, no, and you mentioned there, Matt, that all the team will need to know about this, for the colleagues that opt in, because I think there's some aspects of data capture.
There is, Harry. There's certainly, when you receive them with your delivery from the wholesaler, there's a requirement to keeps certain information, so batch numbers, etc. But that's all detailed in the circular and the service spec. You'll need to capture certain details about the people you're handing out the kits to as well. And again, that's all outlined. And there might be some other requirements post handout. There should be no requirement for you to be involved in doing the test. That's not the expectation for the pharmacy. There's no requirement for a pharmacy to be recording results or anything like that. It is simply a distribution service, as is you know, the other areas of the NHS that are doing it. So there shouldn't be any extra requirements beyond the requirements laid out in the circular. And one or two of these are UK-wide systems that you'll be asked to input in, which aren't normally the systems that an NHS Scotland would use, but it's a UK-wide testing programme. Yep. So that's a differential as well.
Yeah, good point, cracking point to make, Matt. Yep. In terms of eligibility, I think we've slightly different eligibilities for down south. We can do a bit more with people in the households.
Yeah, I believe it is that is the case, Harry. We can hand out, you know, maybe a few more test kits, etc. Per house. And I think that's just giving us a bit more flexibility up there. And the claims, of course, are per individual. So that kind of helps as well. But again, all laid out within the actual circular. And the circular is certainly all the information we're putting on our website, our newsletter, and you'll see a link below that I'm sure Graham will pop in as part of this video as well.
So that, as I say, the teams can get up and running from next week in terms of the distribution of the kits once they come in. So we've got that. I think there's to be, and we're also a promotion to the public campaign, at least making them aware that this is another option, Matt. That should kick off next week. Yeah,
I believe that's starting on Monday. So as I say, don't worry if you can't quite get the test kits from Monday, but the service is starting from Monday, so you might start getting members of the public coming and asking. If you're not offering, it might be worth checking with your neighbouring pharmacy to see if they're offering the service, because I mean it's legitimate as an opt-in service, so you don't need to. But you know, if you are getting you know, patients coming and asking, it might be worthwhile. Or you can point them to the online or the asymptomatic test centres as well.
Yeah, no, ideal, man. I think that's probably just a good point to wind up on with the video tonight. And I'll just say that that also means it's still really important for our teams to keep using the PPE, so your masks, and getting the cleaning regime right within the pharmacy. That's still an ongoing requirement for ourselves, and we've also communicated out that new ordering process for the PPE to our team. So it's just a plea that keep going with that, because we're almost there. We're beginning to come out of the restrictions and the levels. So thanks, Matt, for your time, and teams. I hope that's been useful, and we'll catch you later.
Yeah.
Bye now. Cheers now.